Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our live show, our Monday live show. Today's live stream is going to be super insightful, super exciting. I'm going to be interviewing my dear friend Flavia, and she is going to be sharing how she managed to get accepted into one of the best institutions in not the country, the world, the University of Pennsylvania. She will be sharing what she did when she was in high school and how she managed to go to this incredible school. And not only that, how nowadays, present day, she works for the Latin Grammys. So we will be having kind of like a little roadmap or a tour through Flavia's life. And I'm really, really excited. This is going to be an amazing presentation. It's going to be very insightful. And I cannot wait to get started. Flavia, how are you doing today?
Hi, Laura. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am really excited too. And this has been a long time coming. So Flavia and I, a little context, we go to the same acting school. We are currently just doing acting classes because we both love art. And this is just kind of like, not a hobby, but like a thing that we do on Thursday nights. And it's been really fun. So when she first told me about how she's from Nicaragua, and how she managed to get accepted as a first generation immigrant into this incredible institution and major in political communications and double minor in digital design and business. So she took classes at the Wharton School of Business, which is the best business school in the country and one of the best business institutions in the whole entire world. Like people from all over the world want to go there to study business. So she will be sharing her experience doing so and getting to where she got and where she is today. So I am really, really excited to get started with this live stream. Please let us know in the chat where you're joining from, where you are watching from, and let me just go live on TikTok so that we get started. All right, we are live on all 4 platforms because remember, on Mondays we go live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. So we are live everywhere. Let's get started with today's, live show and get to know Flavia, my dear friend. And yeah, Flavia, let us know. Tell the people watching where you're from.
So I'm from Nicaragua. Like Laura said, I'm from a very small town up north called Chinandega. It's a very, very small town of about 450,000 inhabitants. It's an agricultural town, so most of the basic products from Nicaragua are grown here, and we export them all over the world. So it's a very important point of commerce for the country.
Wow, that's so cool. And tell us a little bit about your family. Are you an only child? Do you have siblings? What's your family like?
So we're a family of 4. I have my parents and my older sister, Valeria. My parents and my sister are my source of inspiration for everything I do. My dad was my dad's the mastermind behind all of my academic successes. He basically raised us since we were little with the idea that everything that you put into your education is an investment for the future that you want to create, which is something that I still remember those words to this day. My mom, on the other side, she's the creative, street smart of the family, and she gave us a lot of valuable qualities as well, such as the common sense, intuition, everything that you need to go out and fight in the real world. Mm-hmm. And my sister, I've told you before, but she's my role model. She's my idol. She's my favorite. I call her an influencer because she influences me in everything I do in my life. I used to want to do everything that she did, but now she's teaching me to find my own path and do my own me. And like I told you before, her most important lesson to me is the power of your mind and how much you can control of your life when you have control of your mind.
Wow, that's incredible, and it's so nice to hear how close knit family you are, and how you kind of like take the best qualities of each other and use it to your advantage, I guess. And it's lovely because I can relate in the fact that I'm really close to my family. I mean, if you are watching and you've seen these live streams, it's always either me, David, Francisco. Best College Aid is a family, a family project. And honestly, it works well because we do it together and we feed off each other's energy. So I think it's awesome to hear that, and to see how you mentioned that you were inspired by your sister, because I think you have mentioned to me that she also went to an Ivy League school,
She
and that
did.
is just insane to like the 100% of your parents' children went to Ivy League schools. So I think that is so cool. She went to what? Cornell?
She went to Cornell. I'll give you a little fun fact right now about her. She was the first one from our small town to go to an Ivy League school. I was the second one and last one to this date, I
Oh my
think.
gosh, that is insane. So literally, like, you are iconic in your town. You literally made history in your town. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, I didn't know that, but we're gonna make a picture of it, and you should have it framed.
I will. I will.
That is so cool. Wow. Well, now that you know a little bit about Flavia's, like, family, why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit more, I guess, academics, or not numbers, but everybody knows that the University of Pennsylvania is a very difficult school to get into. In fact, the acceptance rate for this school is 6.5, currently 6.5%. So about, if 100 students apply, about 6 of them get accepted, which means that it's a pretty competitive school. So I guess I would like to ask you, is there something that somebody told you, maybe your parents, maybe your sister, a teacher, or maybe something that you even told yourself when you were living in Nicaragua, when you were younger, that really impacted or helped you get into this very, very selective institution?
Yeah, I think I said it before, but the words that my dad told me when I was little, that everything I did today was going to have an impact on my tomorrow, and how everything that I did for my education and for my personal development um, was creating, since this day, the future that I was going to have eventually. He was always very, he would always tell us how important education was.
Mhm.
And for him, academics in school were extremely important, which I know some people don't really understand, because there's a lot of controversy on whether children should go to school and learn math if that's not their strength and they're better in music or art. But for us, it was always a matter of discipline, and how since a very small age you need to teach your children to be disciplined, and that sometimes doing some things means to achieve another thing, sacrificing some of their things to achieve a long-term goal is worth it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so important, and it's really nice that you like took that advice, or you still remember that, because you mentioned that he is something that he told you since you were really young. So I think that that's really powerful, and I hope that people watching can benefit from this advice that was giving passed through you from your dad. And I guess, like, when applying to college, what would you say was something that had the most weight on you getting accepted into UPenn? Was it your essays? Was it your personal statement, your standardized test scores, your grades, your GPA? What do you think made the biggest difference?
So college, like, admission counselors, they receive like and
Thousand.
yeah, thousands of applications, and they have to read through thousands of applications every day. And for me, what was most important is was to show myself in everything that I did. So through my grades, I showed my discipline. I showed how much I cared, not specifically about the grades, but about my performance in school. It's
Mhm.
about my performance, not the number that I get, but my performance. Then through my extracurriculars, I really showed my passions. I showed what I interested in, what I was willing to give my time to.
Mhm.
And I think that's really important because your time is one of the most precious things that you have. So if you're willing to set aside some time from your super busy week, because we all had busy weeks, then you were showing that something mattered to you.
Mhm.
So I was committed to finding an organization, a social cause, something that fueled my soul, and that I was passionate about. I was able to find that in Operation Smile, this organization that gives medical services to children with cleft lip and palate. Um,
Wow.
and aside from that, the essays were a very also a very strong part of it, because this is a chance that you get
100%.
to tell your story, whichever story you want to tell. And the way, it's not really about the story, but how you tell it, because you can be writing about one of your life failures, and if you focus it around what you learned from it and how it made you a better person, even though it made you feel bad at the time, or
Yeah.
you didn't achieve the success that you wanted to, it's about how you tell it and how you use that to add to your strengths.
Yes, to show yourself, or to, I guess, in a way, it's like this is weird, but like market yourself. It's honestly the personal statements, or your college essay, or even the supplemental questions. It's people kind of take it for granted, but it is your time to shine, literally your time to really show. Because yes, while your your resume, high school resume, what you did, your grades, maybe standardized test scores can show, okay, you took these classes, you were disciplined. Your essays are, if there's no interview, it's the time where the student can really show who they are, what they're committed to, and be creative and really get the attention of a college admissions counselor. Because they're, for example, like a school like UPenn, there's so many students who are just, excellent excellent students. They just have amazing grades. And a lot of them have this similar curriculums, right? Or they had similar GPAs, got similar test scores. But in a lot of the cases, what is going to set them apart, obviously, is their volunteering and their extracurriculars. But their essays, they really focus on essays on how the student can really market themselves in this piece of writing, because it is a limited time, or not limited wording that they can use to really convince those admissions officers to accept them and to say, hey, you should choose me to go to your school. So it's very important, and it's so cool that you mentioned that, how being passionate about something, and you can still link that and talk about that in these essays, and the importance of doing what you love, and also how it helped you basically and ultimately get accepted into the University of Pennsylvania. I mean, you mentioned that you you did something, you found a cause that you were passionate about and that you liked, and this was your passion project. This was what you did, that maybe not the sole purpose, because you also said that you did extra stuff academically, but colleges really want that. They want students who are not just obviously exceptional in their grades, or get good grades, write really well, but they want students who are making a difference, and clearly you were trying to do so. So I guess that's some advice for you guys watching. Really find something that you're passionate about, because it really does truly make a difference in your college application process. I mean, it worked for you. So now that we talk about that, I would like to, I guess, ask, besides applying, because we already know you went to the University of Pennsylvania, but which other schools did you apply to besides UPenn?
So I applied to a bunch. I applied to around 10. I don't remember all of them exactly because it was such a long time ago. But others aside from Penn were Georgetown, which I told you was my first choice for a long time. When I was applying to all of them, I thought I was determined that I was if I got accepted into Georgetown, I would go to Georgetown. That didn't happen. But yes, Georgetown, Boston College, UVA. I applied to Notre Dame, Cornell, hmm, NYU,
Mhm.
among others that I remember.
Wow, and which schools were you accepted to?
All of them.
Oh, all right. So Smarty Pants applies to amazing schools and gets accepted into all of them. Thus, the importance of doing what you love. It clearly helped. I mean, you got accepted into all the schools on your list, 10 schools, and amazing schools too, like Notre Dame, Georgetown, NYU. I mean, UPenn, obviously, but all these other schools were also amazing. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I guess I would like to follow up the question is applying to these schools, applying to any college, applying to any university is no easy task. Especially the college application process in the US is very different from other countries where, at least in Mexico, you just basically take a test, an entrance exam, and if you pass, maybe there's a few little requirements here and there, but it's not so complicated, right? So applying to college and applying to schools that are so competitive and have extra requirements like supplemental essays, maybe interviews, it's no easy task, right? It can oftentimes be very overwhelming. I would like to, and you already mentioned your parents a little bit, or the impact that they had, but I guess what role did they play throughout that application process, and how did they help you?
My parents are involved in everything in my life. I love it. Sometimes you can get frustrated, but I think at this age, you really learn to appreciate that
Hmm.
and to appreciate their involvement and their dedication to you, to your continue, to you, and your continual growth. My parents were super involved in my application process in various ways and in different ways, each one of them. My mom was the one that would drive me around. She would drive 2.5, 3 hours for me to attend lectures, career fairs, college fairs, to meet with maybe a counselor that was willing to give me like an appointment for me to learn a little bit of what was the application process because I didn't have a college counselor at my school. My dad, on the other hand, he was the one that would stay up late with me, rereading and rereading and rereading my essays. We would brainstorm together if I was when I was prepping myself for the SATs, if I had a question, math, writing, reading, he would be there to answer it, and he didn't care if he had to stay up all night with me. And my sister, well, she's not my parent, but she was definitely a great add-on to the to the my support group,
Yeah.
and she served as motivation as well.
That's awesome. It's like that saying, it takes a village, to sometimes to achieve something. A lot of people think like, I mean, yeah, there's students who get accepted into these types of institutions or just go to college with scholarships. And a lot of times they do it on their own. But in most cases, I've seen students that have the support from a parent, a guardian, a sibling, an uncle, a grandparent, maybe even a teacher that believed in them. It really does make a difference. And I see it in your case, my personal situation too. I mean, I had my parents' support. We have students, a lot of our students, if not all of our students, have somebody that is, supporting them and helping them, guiding them through this process or just navigating it with them. Because obviously, a lot of the times, parents don't have the answers. But it's nice as a student to know that you have somebody, if you have a question, or even if they don't know, you can look it up together or try to figure out together. So I think that's really cool. And you mentioned that you got accepted into a bunch of all the schools, not a bunch, all the schools that you applied to. So tell me, why did you choose? It wasn't your first
It
choice.
wasn't, no.
Why did you choose UPenn?
So I chose UPenn after visiting the campus. I wasn't going to do visits because I was studying abroad at the moment for my last year of high school. But then I was so undecided and I was getting different opinions from all of my support circle because of course what it brings with them being involved is that they all want to have a say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was telling me something different. I was really overwhelmed, really confused, and my dad was like, "Go, let's go and let's see."
Mm-hmm.
The first one was UPenn, and I fell in love with the campus. I had the opportunity to go to a class. It was an econ class, econ 1-on-1, and I don't know, it was just an amazing experience. I was recently graduated from high school and like attending this huge lecture room with in English because I had never received a class in English. It was an incredible experience. After that, I went to Notre Dame and Georgetown, and the feeling didn't compare.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it there that my choice was UPenn. And at the end of the trip, I sent my acceptance.
Wow. So there's a saying in Spanish that a lot of grandmas say. I don't know if yours did, but it's uno nunca sabe. Like, you never know. Like, oh, you can't do this because you never know. You can't go on a
Right.
sleepover because you never know. But it's like, you never know. And it's so good that you did go on that college visit and you did check out the campus, because imagine if you didn't. And yeah, maybe you would have been happy on the other schools, but it was so awesome that you weren't planning to and you ended up doing it. And this was not even your first choice, but going and seeing it in person made such a difference. And it impacted the next 4 years of your life. And even now, because being at UPenn helped you get to where you are, which we will talk about how she managed to get a job at the Latin Grammys as, just amazing opportunity, but we will get there. But yeah, it's incredible. And it's so cool to see how, I mean, you've talked throughout this chat that we've had about taking chances, finding what you love, trying things. And I think it's so important. And it's something that a lot of people can not understand, but I guess try to apply into their lives and try to use in their college application process, or even if it's just something personal, try new things, and really be open to every opportunity, because you really, truly never know. Nunca sabes. Uno nunca sabe. So, all right. So you went to UPenn, and you already told us why, but you majored in political communications.
Yes.
How did you end up doing that?
So I'm going to start by saying that I'm a Virgo. I should have everything planned out. I should be super organized. And I am in some parts of my life. But then there's aspects when it comes to taking decisions, important decisions, that I just take forever to make that final decision.
Mhm.
And one of the things that scared me the most as I was going into my first year of college was what classes to take. I was leaning towards an econ major just because it's very it gives you a lot of freedom. You have a lot of opportunities after you graduate. You get to work in different industries. You have a lot of land to explore. But I found out that I liked it. There's a lot of math, which I really liked, but there was something in it that was missing. I didn't feel passionate about it, so I went on and dove like into different other careers
fields,
and fields, and I explored marketing, psychology, communications. I went back to econ. I went back to marketing, and then I was like, the deadline was like tomorrow, and I had to make a decision for my major. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do calm, but let's do something that really like inspires me.
Yeah.
And I was getting really into politics at the time, so I was like, let's do political communications. I submitted. It was done. No going back. And then I started the major. I really liked the classes. It was an amazing major because you get to express yourself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They ask you a lot of your opinion on everything, and you get to talk a lot, and then you get to hear others' opinions as well, which was really, really interesting for me. And you get to appreciate the difference in mentalities
Mm-hmm.
that you're surrounded with.
That is so cool. So it kind of like, I think, I mean, yes, you learned, and it was in the academic aspect of it, you learned, but it sounds like you also were able to kind of broaden your horizons and see life and see the world from a different perspective, which I think is so cool. And I think that is something that college gives you the opportunity. Of course, like you majored in it, so you kind of really learn the ins and outs and why it works like that. But personally, and something that I really I talk with a lot of my students, with our clients, is that going to college is the first time that students are leaving most students are leaving their house, are being grown ups, are meeting people from different backgrounds, different countries. Maybe you were the first person from Nicaragua that somebody that at UPenn, ever met, or maybe you had never met a person from South Africa or New Zealand. I mean, that was the case for me. I'd never met a person from New Zealand, and she became my best friend. My friend in college, and I had never. I mean, I kind of knew where New Zealand was, but I was like, whoa! And then learning about their culture and from things that she would just tell me, I was like, oh, they're colonized by the British people, and oh, they love the Queen. So things that I just would have never known because I guess didn't know anybody from there. So I think going to college is such a cool experience outside of the academics, because you really get to just broaden your horizons. So and it sounds like you did too, and I think it's really cool, and it's nice to hear. And yeah, so I would like to paint a picture now, and you've already kind of talked about it, about at least the first time you visited UPenn. But I kind of want you to for the people watching that maybe they're interested in going to this university, or just a first day in a school like this, an Ivy League school, a very selective school, prestigious institution. What was your first day at the University of Pennsylvania? How did you feel? How did it feel walking through that beautiful campus? Because it is gorgeous. And what was that feeling like? Did you feel accomplished?
Definitely feeling accomplished. There's a lot of uncertainty because you're nervous, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. It was the first day that I was without my mom, so my mom had left. She had moved me in, and then left just the day before my first day. So I was sad, I was homesick, I was excited nonetheless. And then you walk into these classrooms and you see people you've never seen before, sometimes talking between themselves. Like, I don't you
Yeah.
get like, oh, do they know each other? Am I the only one that's not gonna know anybody here? Then you sit down. From my perspective, it was the first time that I was receiving a class in English fully, because my school was fully in Spanish. So um it was really overwhelming at first, I can say, and it can get really overwhelming, but you just need to learn how to manage those feelings, because that's life, and you face uncertain situations every single day in your life. So for me, it was just trying to calm down and take it all in, and tell Flavia, listen, this is your first day, enjoy it. Nothing that you do today is gonna mark the rest of your 4 years. Just enjoy it.
Mhm. Wow, that is so powerful. And also, it's how you explained it. It just kind of took me back of that feeling. And if there's students watching this that are planning to go to college, or if you're a parent that has students, that is so true. That uncertainty is like excitement, nervousness, and then there's like a million thoughts running through your head,
Yeah.
because you're like, oh my gosh, these people know each other, and I'm going to be alone for the rest of the semester. And it's not the case. You end up making friends, but then you're just kind of like, okay, I need to put my schedule in the back of my phone so I don't get lost. I mean, that was at least my case, because
Yeah, for sure.
I was so, I don't know. It's so many feelings, but it's also so cool, and it really does prepare you for life, because it's kind of like that when you start a new job, you start a new project post, and we will talk about your post college life in a second. But it's you're kind of prepared for those big feelings of uncertainty, because you're experiencing those things in while you're still developing in college, and you're still growing, and you are kind of face those things in that sense. And then you, okay, first big girl job, first job interview, and it's things that kind of, even if you don't know it, will prepare you for those things. So I think that's really cool, and I love that you remember it so vividly, because I remember so vividly too. And I miss it. I definitely miss. It was such a fun time. There
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it was so
You're an
exciting.
adult, but not really.
Yes, and like you have a lot of responsibilities, schoolwork and all these things, but also like you don't do the same. I mean, it's not like real. I mean, it is real world, but it's such a fun time.
Yeah.
College is so fun. I miss it for sure. If you're about to start college, or if you're starting it soon, enjoy it. It's really
Yes.
fun, but also, do your work. Alrighty, so I kind of want to move on and talk about the present. Let's move a few years post graduating from the University of Pennsylvania. And nowadays, you are a senior account executive for the Latin Grammys.
Yes.
All right. And for those of you who might not know, the Latin Grammys were created, a few years ago to kind of award or to celebrate Latin talent in the United States and across the world. So, as a woman, an immigrant, first generation immigrant, Nicaraguan woman, how does that feel working for this organization and doing what you do?
It feels I you can't help but to feel proud of yourself, and that's not a bad thing at all. You should always aim to feel proud of yourself, and that's how I feel right now, because when I like looking back when I was a little girl, I could have never thought that the show that I was watching on TV and the artists that were coming onto the stage, that was going to be my real world today.
Yeah.
And I still work a lot in business, so I'm mostly in business. Don't think that I'm there walking the red carpet and posting for the paparazzis, but it's just such a cool industry to work in, and it comes with a lot of work because it's not easy to find a job in these industries. They require a lot of experience. They not a lot of recent college graduates go to directly into these industries. And for me, coming out of Penn, there were very little opportunities to find a job that I was really passionate about in the entertainment business, in the entertainment industry, which was the one that I was looking for. When I found this job at the Latin Recording Academy, I was really happy because it was the perfect job for me. I'm in the industry that I like, and I'm working in business, which is part of what I studied as well, because I did a minor in business. So I'm working in sales. I'm working with different companies. I get exposure to different kinds of clients from everywhere in the world, Latin America, here in the United States, Spain. So it's really a cool job to have right out of college, and I'm really lucky to have it for myself. But it's really a cool experience, and you get to learn a lot. And I like that I'm working in something that's related to my career.
That is so cool. And I love that. Like, and this is the case in a lot of situations. People think that they are going to major and they have to go into like specifically the field that they major in. And that's why it's so cool to minor in things or to try new things. Because like you said, you majored in political communications and you did do a lot of communication classes that definitely helped you in this field, especially because you're meeting people from all over. And then you also minor in business. So you did take those classes and you did learn all the academics and those things, important things that you use today in your job, because it's not like you say, you're not just walking the red carpet, but do you get to go to some of the events that you help put together?
That's another perk of my job. I work a lot with sponsors, so I get to go to the events and host the clients, make sure they're having a good time. They have everything they need. They can check out their sponsor activations throughout the event, show them where their logo is placed at.
Wow.
So I do get to go to the events.
That is so cool. And it's like awesome that you kind of in the beginning of this conversation, you told me that you always wanted to, you had dreams for yourself and you had a vision. And it's so cool that at the end, towards as we're reaching the end of this live show and this conversation, you kind of say like, wow, little me could have never imagined. But at the same time, you worked so hard and you had an idea. So you worked towards your dreams and you had an idea of what you wanted. And that is so important to have an idea. Or of course, like you didn't know exactly what you were going to major in, but you did have an idea of the type of person you wanted to become, or the type of field that you wanted to go into. You liked entertainment, but you also liked business, and literally that's what you're doing today. So it's so important for students, parents watching, to find what you're passionate about, find your purpose, and find what you want to do. Because as long as you know where you want to be or have an idea, the path towards that, yes, it's going to be overwhelming. Yes, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of things that you did, like that you had to do in order to achieve what you did, but you achieved it. And of course, you had the support system. But it's so important, and you're a great example of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, for being an example and coming here to show everyone watching, which also leads me to my next question, because we do get a lot of women, we get a lot of moms of first generation students, first generation immigrants, or just parents who are watching this. So I would like to ask you, I guess, one final question. And if you had, or because you do, to all those people watching, parents, students, maybe young girls who might be first generation students like you, and who are wondering, okay, is going to college and getting an education right for me? What would you say to them based on your experience?
I would say there's never enough education, and anything that you do to fuel your mind will is an investment for the future, in my father's words. So yes, education is for everyone. No matter what you want to do in the future, there's always something you can learn to make it better, to make it yours. If you want to be an entrepreneur, then yes, you need the tools to make sure you know how to build a business. It's not just coming up with the idea and hiring people to make it happen. No, you need to make it happen. So I would say education is a privilege, but it's a tool.
Mhm.
It's a tool that you should always have. And like I said before, you should never stop um
Learning or
learning.
learning,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. You should never stop learning. You should always find new things. Like for me right now we're in theater class,
Yes.
we're in acting class. We have these kind of like speaking, public speaking lessons that teach us really how to speak, how
Yeah.
to communicate
Yes.
in environments like these.
Yeah.
And there's always something you can learn
Hmm.
to make you a more well-rounded human being.
100%. And it's so cool to like you said that, because you never stop learning. Like everything in life, whether it's inside the classroom, in college, like yes, a lot of the lessons were academic and in the classroom, but so many of the lessons were outside of the classroom. And even now, like you said, we're taking acting classes and just listening. I hope people watching this can learn, and just really being like how you were, and you mentioned that you were growing up and when you were doing volunteering and stuff, being aware of your surroundings and just learning something. I guess people could set a goals for themselves and just really listen to those people around you, and just even if it's not something good, like, oh, I don't want to be like that,
Right.
or oh, that person, it's maybe, I don't know, whatever, not to be judgmental, but of course there's things you can learn from people, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, that is beautiful what you said, and I hope that it really like resonates with people. And if you maybe were unsure, your answer clearly it's a great answer, so hopefully it inspired you. I want to congratulate you again. again, I am really, really happy that you came here and that you talked to everyone watching us. I know that you are going to be inspiring a lot of women, a lot of students. What you accomplished is incredible. And I know, like you said, you should be proud. And I know you're proud because you worked so hard, and you should be proud and you should celebrate yourself. And I mean, here you are, there's a lot of people in the chat congratulating you. So congratulations again. Thank you so much for joining. And we will see Flavia again because she will come back and we will have more. Sure. We'll have more conversations about the college admissions process and things that could help you guys. So if you have anything that you would like to see in the future, please comment, send us a DM with ideas because we definitely want to have you back and learn more from your knowledge because you are such an intelligent and knowledgeable person.
I loved being here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. And additional to that, before I leave, I do want to leave you with some resources because we talked about some very, very important things and topics today in today's live stream. We talk about college admissions, about the importance of essays, being a well-rounded student. And if this is something that is super stressful to you or something that maybe as a parent or first-generation student you might be lost in, don't worry, we have a free resource in the link in our bio or in this video's description. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube and Facebook, Francisco is also going to do me the favor of sharing it in the comment section for Facebook and YouTube. And if you are on TikTok and on Instagram, you can check out the link in my bio. It's a free resource, a free webinar on the top secrets to go to college with scholarships. It's a presentation that we curated for you guys where we took all the common questions that we get asked in a weekly basis, and we kind of give you an overview of the most important things that you have to do or know in order to prepare for that college application process. So definitely check it out. Again, it's a completely free resource, and it's for anybody who wants to register. And it's just for you guys. Our goal is to help you, so definitely check it out. Thank you for watching. We will see you maybe inside that free training. We will see you next week. And Flavia, will definitely see you again here at Best College Aid. Have a wonderful, wonderful start of your week. And we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.